Hey y'all. So this is Primero coming at you with my first attempt of doing just a regular little playthrough on something I'm going to try to accomplish. Let's say that because I haven't really been doing these things called horrific visions. Right now I'm going to attempt to do it on my hunter, my primary DPS range that been wanting to use. I don't know if he'll stay my primary range due to the way things are going to probably change for the next expansion, but at least with this, it's like, especially with the other characters, I'm going to end up trying to basically get everybody up to par or above par of what I feel is going to be a good baseline set of gear and whatnot, and what little buffs here and there that I think will flow into the next expansion. I guess I think that's what I can do. Plus, I get to see how I get to enjoy these particular encounters. What I'm going to end up doing is going to be the first time kind of doing it. I kind of did it on my main character, Primero, for the I got the cloak because this deals with the cloak. It's upgrading the cloak that I gotta deal with, and essentially you get up to, I think, rank 15 was the maximum rank. On this guy, I'm actually rank 8 from the last time I did something, but it was through every week. The place I'm going to is a different capital city, which there are only two capital cities. There's Orgrimmar, which is the one that's active right now, and then Stormwind City, one being Alliance, one being Horde. I've done the Stormwind City. I've tried out the Stormwind City. It was kind of cool. Now the Orgrimmar is here. I haven't done anything with Orgrimmar except for the basic stuff of getting a character from rank 1 to rank 5, which was very simple, very basic. I did that on pretty much all of the characters I possess. This guy, like I said, he is actually up to rank 8, but I only achieved that through the time I spent with the Stormwind stuff. So I know what I got to deal with the Stormwind to, what are the goals, what are the objectives, etc. With Orgrimmar, not sure. It's going to be my first time. I think I got one of my vessels. I got to get a vessel. Apparently, I got to purchase the vessel of horrific visions. Then I can sign up for this. Currently, I'm pretty geared. I got new boots. I did this heroic warfront, and it was for the zone called Darkshore. I got pretty lucky. Um, let's just say that that offered what essentially tells you the potency of the item that you get is by item levels. So I'm at 460 item level of the pair of boots that I got, which were really nice. Good baseline primary stat, which for a hunter is agility. A good amount of which stamina, everybody needs that. I mean, that's just your health. I mean, the more health you got, the better. Now, with the way I've been playing this particular character, I'm basically making him like the Mack truck of damaging ability. So one of the things I noticed is I got the character in a way where it's like he doesn't move, he doesn't do the moves super fast. Like the spells don't shoot out super fast, but which I'm about to experience on here to see how that feels with this kind of environment. Because I'm pretty sure it's like Storm One when it comes to it's progressively gets harder to do through the extra sections you're going through, but it's also like there's this little bar at the bottom of the screen, and it's called sanity, and you can lose sanity while you're just in there, which in all retrospect is like a timer, if you will. I mean, there is a way to reset that timer. There's only like 3 times I can do it with this one particular thing, sanity restoration orb. So that's pretty cool. I kind of remember that from the other time I did it. And now I'm gonna see like with my warrior. I mean, that's fast paced. I mean, I'm an arms warrior on that. I hit like a Mack truck on him. That was pretty easy. I mean, I kicked some ass with that. But so when it comes to a melee type character, obviously I did very well. I did very well. But also I knew the baseline mechanics of what I was involved with in that particular city. Like each place was different stuff. So on this guy, one of the benefits of playing this guy is I do have a pet. He can do some tanking for me. I remember a macro that someone set up on a website to let you have the ability to easily have a spell called misdirection be placed on your pet. Like I can put that on if I have other people in my group and stuff like that, and there's a tank. I can use that spell specifically for the tank. That way, all the damage I do creates a good swell of aggro, which would get directed, which hence the name misdirection, to the tank. Now, this macro, I actually made this shit. I don't even know how old that macro is now, but the macro was very helpful. Right now, it's not as good as it used to be because it used to be if I did misdirection to my pet, it would automatically reset the cooldown. So the maneuver itself is 30 seconds. I can only do it every 30 seconds. If I did it to a tank, I'd do it. 30 seconds later, I'll have the ability to do it again. Back in the day, if I did it to the pet, it would not go on its cooldown. I could just keep spamming it repeatedly on my pet. And I, even though I could produce a lot of output, would never pull aggro off my pet. Because there is such a thing as some DPS individuals don't understand that their potency on their spells can produce more aggro than what the tank is producing. Like tanks do have the ability to pull it back. Like if they lose it, they can do a taunt and say, "Hey, come back here, come back here." But with this misdirect, I'm just always producing that aggro for my pet. But in this iteration of the spell, in this context of the expansion as we're in now, that doesn't happen anymore. I still have to wait the 30 seconds to reapply it to my pet. So it's been complicated with that. Like I really wish it wasn't like that, but it is. Now once the spell is done, like once I cast it, it's like an 8 second window. So within that 8 seconds, I got to produce a good amount of damage. That way, after that 8 seconds, everything else I do, it's going to take a while before that enemy says, "Holy shit, I need to stop looking at this pet and go after this hunter over here because he's lighting my ass up." There are times where I don't do enough damage during the 8 seconds, and I still pour aggro off my pet. So there's still that because some of the spells, like I said, I kind of have this guy built in a way where he hits like a Mack truck. Like I don't have much haste, which is the secondary stat needed to increase how often I do certain spells. Because there are certain spells that the more haste you have, not only the faster I can cast it to shoot it at someone, but the rechargeability of the spell is decreased. Like, for example, I got this move called Aim Shot. Currently, I have 7% haste. The spell is at 2.3 seconds to cast at that 7%. And then it takes 11 seconds for it to recharge. Luckily, I got 2 charges on the spell, so I could do that maneuver twice. But each charge is 11 seconds apiece. But even though it takes a little bit to cast the damn thing, I hit like a Mack truck. I mean, recently I've been noticing I can hit over 100,000 hit points on an enemy pretty easily, especially because of the way I got them built. There's a particular talent that I picked that, this one, Careful Aim. This talent, Aim Shot, deals 50% bonus damage to targets who are above 80% health or below 20% health. So if I start off fighting something, right off the back, I charge off 1 Aim Shot. Depending on how many hit points the enemy has, and if I produce a critical strike on that initial hit, there have been times where I could one-shot an enemy, especially when I don't have the pet out, because I do get an extra, I believe it's like 10% or 5%. Can't remember now. But I get a percentage back for not having a pet out, because as a marksman, they got a thing called Lone Wolf. Oh, here it is. Lone Wolf increases your damage by 10% when you do not have a pet active. So that's me normally when I'm out and about by myself on regular enemies that are not like elite style enemies. I normally don't have my pet out. So I get that extra 10%. Plus, if I'm in a group, I don't need my pet. I get the extra 10%. So there's times like that. I'll have the capability of one-shotting an enemy. And I noticed that pretty early on. It's not like it's just now happening. I actually started noticing that pretty early on in playing this particular character and the way I was building it. Because, for example, when I was just discussing about these secondary stats, I got a decent amount of crit, so my chances to critically strike are at 23%. So that's not too bad. I think that's the lower end that is still acceptable to try and achieve a decent amount of opportunities for critical strike. And then everything else, I try to aim towards base damage increasing. So I want to increase the base damage. I don't want to worry too much about how many times I'm throwing out the spell, opposed to how much damage is that spell going to do when I do it. Because I also have them built where that particular move with a talent called Lock and Load, I have a chance to shoot that spell off instantly and would not cost any of my resource that requires to cast that spell, which as a hunter, it's focus. So for the most part, he is just a heavy hitter. Like, I got that spell Aim Shot hitting hard. And that's also due to the way the company decided to design the characters, with this one secondary stat that every class has a secondary stat called Mastery, but it's different between every single spec of every single class. No two specs are kind of like when it comes to their mastery. As a marksmanship hunter, my mastery, it's called sniper training. Range of all your ranged abilities is increased by 23.4%. So the baseline distance, maximum distance I can be from an enemy is 40 yards. So 23.4% is ultimately putting me at 49 yards. So I gained an extra 9 yards of extra distance I can have away from an enemy, which is very helpful depending on what you're doing. Depending on what you're doing and where you're at, what boss you're fighting in a group or whatever, there are certain things that enemies do that don't spread out like that far, and it won't hit me because I can go 9 more yards out. So like if in fact this one boss we're fighting has some kind of area of effect move that would ultimately hit everybody within 40-yard maximum range, I could benefit from my mastery by being outside of that range. So I could be with 41, 42 yards away and I'm not getting hit. And that puts less strain on a healer to have to heal me during that specific spell encounter or whatever. Also, the mastery does a second thing. It increases the damage of all my abilities. So it says, and damage of all abilities increased by 52.5%, which is a lot. So I'm getting just a little over half more damage on everything. So let's say a particular maneuver is supposed to hit, let's just throw a number out there. Let's say a baseline maneuver hits for 1,000 with the 52 and change is going to be 1,500 and 500, 200. It's like was 1,520 some odd hit points. So then you picture that with the way critical strike works in this video game is it's double the amount you would have had initially hit. So if I'm at just a little over 1,500 on a normal hit, that means a critical strike would be just slightly over 3 grand. Which in my case, my aim shot right now, just sitting here, just standing here, is stating that a powerful aim shot that deals 61,374 physical damage. Now that's it. That's just me sitting here. That's not including the extra 50% bonus damage of the talent that I picked. So that means you got to add an extra 50% on top of that 60. What was it? 61,300. So an extra 50% on top of that. That's how much my baseline damage is on something that's 80% or higher. So between 100% of the target's health up to the 80. So that window of the enemy's health, I get that extra 50%. And then afterwards, once that enemies from starting at 20. So let's say we're fighting. He's 21 hit points, 21% of his health. Now he's 20. Once that 20 comes around, I get the extra 50% again. So in the very early on of a fight to the very tail end of the fight, that's where I'm producing the absolute most damage with that spell, which is pretty damn cool. And then all the other spells are not affected by that talent, but all the other spells are affected by the mastery. So I got other spells that are instant cast. All I need is the resource, which is my focus. Like I got a move called Aim Shot. I can quickly shoot a spell, and it takes 15 points of the 100 points of focus. So my focus sits at 100 points. I use 15 of that to shoot that spell. So just so long I have that bar with some of that in there, I can pop that move, and which is pretty cool. So since that's instant, I don't have to worry about casting that. That's some of the reasons. Like I got so many moves that are kind of instant for the most part. There's not a lot of moves I have that I have to cast. Like Aim Shot, I have to cast it to then shoot it. I have this other move called Steady Shot, which I cast that to generate the focus. So if I am very low on focus, I can get it back by casting that spell. There's another maneuver I think I have to get that back, and it's called Rapid Fire. Now, Rapid Fire is instant and then channeled. So I hit it, immediately starts shooting, and then it does a damn good amount of damage within, I think it says, 10 hits. So it shoots off 10 rapid fire shots. That is very heavy because of the fact that my mastery is being so high. So stuff like that, I got a thing called double tap. That's pretty fun. You'll see that in there. I'll try to use some of that double tap just to show you how the double tap, because double tap is like one of the things that makes this spec fun. I enjoy using double tap when I can, because there's a particular move called multi shot, which I can shoot off, multiple shots and hit whatever's in front of me. So, like, let's say for example, there's 5 enemies in front of me. Hit multi shot, it shoots off. You see all 5 of them get hit. I believe I have to be 3 or more targets to get this thing called ricochet, which has been another thing that just makes me laugh. So it's trick shot. It's actually what the passive ability is called. It says when multi-shot hits 3 or more targets, your aim shot or rapid fire will ricochet and hit up to 5 additional targets for 50% of the normal damage. So, I'm going to hit the initial guy that I'm looking at. It's going to be regular damage, and then everybody else that's near, let's say I said 5, so I'm hitting that one, and then the other 4 are getting 50% of what that would have been to them. Like, just hitting everybody. The cool part about that is double tap plus that. It's just funny. I just enjoy doing it every time I get a chance to do it. I do it. Like double tap is a talent. It's a 1 minute cooldown. It kind of sucks that it's 1 minute, but there are times where it feels like time flows pretty quickly. So something that's 1 minute doesn't feel like 1 minute. So I do often like to do this ability as often as I can. So double tap essentially makes aim shot or rapid fire shoot like twice. So for example, with aim shot, let's say I'm just going to hit one guy, hit double tap, charge up the ability. When I shoot, it shoots 2, bang bang. And the second one, I believe it's the same amount of damage as the first. Let me see, your aim shot will fire a second time instantly at 100% power without consuming focus, which is the energy I need to use to do the ability. And then on the other move, rapid fire says, or your next rapid fire will shoot 100% additional shots during its channel. So, for example, the rapid fire shoots 10 shots. So that means I'm going to shoot 20 within the period of time that thing takes to shoot, which I believe it says shoots at your target over 2. Okay, so it takes 2.8 seconds to shoot 10 shots on the way I'm set up right now. That means within that same amount of time, I'm doing 20 hits. And so it's stating that I'll do 96,160 physical damage within that window. So in less than 3 seconds, I'm doing almost 100,000 hit points of health of damage. So I'm shooting another 10, so that's almost double. So I could be close to 200,000 hit points of damage on a singular target. But then if you take into consideration that if I do trick shot and I hit multiple targets, then they're going to get 50. The other targets are going to get 50% of what that would be. So that's one of the fun things to do. Is trick shot is cool with an aim shot, especially if I get the lock and load, which is allows me to shoot a aim shot for free. There's times I'll see that pop. It's like, oh look, I got lock and load. I'll do the multi shot and then immediately follow up with an instant arcade shot, and it's, I hit all those targets twice. So you got the one initial hit, bang, 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 all ricocheting off of everybody. And then I get the other one, bing, 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 bing. It's nice. It's nice. And then with the rapid fire, it's insane to see how many bing, 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 it's just jumping between each target, hitting everybody. So that, I'm not gonna lie, that's entertaining. It's very entertaining. So I mean, that's one of the gists of how I got like this guy built, and I'm gonna see how it feels in this environment. One of the other things that I added, or that I don't want to necessarily say I focused on it, but I kind of did lean towards it, was there is this other secondary stat that the company decided to add into the game at one point called versatility. Versatility is a two-piece secondary stat. On one part, it says it increases damage and healing done by a percentage. So whatever percentage you have, that's what it is. It states I got 13%, but when you put your arrow on it, it's actually 13.21%. So any healing capabilities I have, I got to add on. It'll add on 13.21. Any damaging abilities I have, that's another 13. So imagine I got mastery giving me 23 point or 52.5 more damage. Then you add 13.21 to that. I mean, I got a lot of damage. I mean, let's see. So that'll be what? Let me do some math here, which that I suck. So that's 65 point some odd. So it's almost, yeah, 65, just a little over 65% there. Now, that's where my character hits like a mad truck because I do have a decent amount of mastery and a nice little chunk of versatility throughout all the items I possess. I mean, 13.21% is actually very good. That's a very good number because it takes a lot to get 1% of that stat. That's the one thing that's kind of apparent about it in a way, that it takes so many points of stat to gain the percentage of said stat. And I think it's kind of different between every spec. I'm not quite sure. I haven't really looked at that. Now I just thought of that. I think it's the same across the board with anybody. So like if I got 13.21%, that's let's see. It says I got 1,123 points of versatility to gain. It might be the same with everybody else. It might still take, like if I want 13.21 on that guy over there, this character over here, it's still going to be 1,123 to achieve. So I think that's the same. But that's for another day, I guess. The other part that stat does is not as high of a percentage, but it's still nice to have. It says the other half is decreases damage taken by, and then it seems like half of what your percentage is. So, like, let's say for example, if I was at 14% of the damage increase, that means my damage decrease would be at 7%. Because it's stating right now that the less damage I take is 6.61%. So that's pretty cool. Any damage reduction is always good damage reduction, especially if something wants to come and crack you one. So yeah, I got this guy hitting like a Mack truck with that. And then I got little odds and ends that give me more output. Like I got an enchantment on my weapon that'll give me my baseline stat ability, which is agility. That's the primary thing I need to ultimately make my moves more potent. And then it also gives me a secondary stat, but I think it's like a chance to give me one of the other stats. But I believe it doesn't give me anything with versatility. I think it just sticks to crit, haste, and mastery. So any one of those three I can get on top of that agility as a proc, like a chance to proc, boom, give me that. I think it was like 260 something agility, and then here's some of this mastery. Which, when it gives me the mastery, that's that much more potency on my spells, which is really cool. And then I got other things like I got a trinket that baseline it's given me versatility, and then it's chance on my spells and abilities. It gives me a chance to achieve 2,615 of my primary stats, which would be the agility, which means I'm gonna hit even harder, and it's 10 seconds. So 10-second window, I'll have that much extra agility. So yeah, when that window opens up, I'm hitting pretty damn hard. I also got something that's giving me extra crit, so more opportunity for crit is always nice. Um, as enchantments, I have the ability to enchant myself because my primary character from Arrow is an enchanter, and what I did to be slick is all my characters have the ability to enchant, which in all actuality, I'm not using them to enchant. I'm actually using them to disenchant. That means you take an item, you destroy said item, and it gives you materials, and those materials will thus become reagents to use to make a particular enchantment for, which the way things have been going, it's only really the weapons and the rings that I can provide to my other characters with Primera. So here, that one enchantment I said for the weapon is called Force Multiplier. So that one's pretty cool for the hunters. It's cool for the rogues. It's cool for most of the melee. Anybody that uses intellect, there's another one that's like the equivalent of that, but it's for casters. So it's like instead of getting strength or agility, that casters are going to get intellect and then thus one of the secondary stats, which is pretty cool. And then the other enchantments are just a baseline chunk of one of the secondary stats, which in this character's case, the rings I possess, I added an extra plus 60 mastery points to each ring. So that's how not only the gear itself producing the secondary stats, but also enchantments to try and achieve to get that much mastery to become that much more potent with the character in general. So, let me see something here. So as of right now, I got the vessel is what allows me to get in here.
It seems our
Let me
fates
take a
are
quick look at the map.
intertwined.
So apparently this is the map. There's two sections that are like semi-corrupted, which is it's actually called corrupted area. So it looks like this one here in the middle, and then the one all the way to far left, and then the ones with the darker purple tentacle-looking things around this area looks like the what they call lost area, which apparently those areas are like, trust me, they're lost. Ain't no coming back from that. And then I don't know if you can notice, I got this little skull right there. So the little skull is the end boss essentially of the entire place. So in this case, which I have done this part, which is just in that little center area that doesn't have purple in it, that spot is like I just go in there, kill the character Thrall, which has been corrupted, and then that's the end of this vision. But with the particular quest I'm on, I need to visit this area over here and this area over here, which are the corrupted areas. Apparently, I need 4 torn pages of fear and flesh. So, yeah, 4 of them. Shit, 4 of them. That means I might have to come in here a secondary time if that's the case. That means I can only go to the one corrupted area to get 1 page. Because last I remember, the other quests were giving me 1 page per that section, which kind of sucks. Now, the other thing I'm noticing is that there's a rotation of things that happen to you that are like on you while you're in these places. So, for example, it says the effect on me is called madness or dark delusions. It's madness, dark delusions. Dark delusions pursue you. Touching them inflicts shadow damage and stuns you for 4 seconds. So that means that's something I'm going to get to see. It's probably going to look like me, I think. And then it's probably going to want to walk towards me. Hopefully, it's not that fast. So that means just as long as I avoid it, I'm good to go. I won't have to worry about receiving any damage, and I don't have to worry about being stunned for 4 seconds, which 4 seconds, I was just talking about time. 4 seconds feels like a lot anyway. So it looks like both of them have the same thing. And then in these heavy places, split personality. Periodically find yourself surrounded by fearful mirror images. Touching one disorients you for 4 seconds. So I'm not going to receive damage, which is cool, but I get stunned for 4 seconds. Now, in those areas, being stunned for 4 seconds, what's worse about that area is that the lost areas take more sanity per second from that bar that I got at the bottom. The one I was talking about where it's like, hey, that particular bar has only got 1,000 points, and this thing's talking about 12 points per second. Not gonna spend that much time in there, so 12 times 4, that's how much I'm getting. I'm lost, just sitting there, disoriented. I'm screwed. So time is of the essence in those areas. So the other areas said they take 8 sanity per second. So I don't know how much resistance, like the cloak itself gives me like resistance to these mechanics, which are draining that bar. The higher the cloak, apparently, the least amount of drainage I'm going to experience. So, yeah. Noticing this quest, that means I'm going to have to come here a second time. But I'll just do this one video checking it out. Alright, so let me get into it. Use the vessel. It shall consume. Opening the vessel. Okay, so I know for a fact I want to throw that over there. Bing, 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 bing. Love that stuff. Now, I don't know if you can notice, but my pet does like a tank, though. It has the capability of doing a move called Growl. Now, Growl is just like a warrior's taunt. He has the ability to say, hey, look at me. I'm opening it up on this guy. Bing! Oh, non-crit, so that kind of sucks. But, oh, I don't want that to happen, because I know what that does. Alright, so that was a nice crit. Go ahead and open up on this target here. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. Oof. This guy was so far away I couldn't even. Ooh, I hit him for 137,000 plus. See, that's a pretty good hit. Alright, time consuming. Alright, area. So, I think it's going up this way. I'm gonna click on this to open it up. I don't know if you noticed, I didn't use misdirect on these guys because these are some easy cheapy. Yeah, oh, that's one big elite guy over there, so I'll do the misdirect and open up hard on him. Bang. Bang. Ooh, what's that? It's a hell of a spell. I don't even know what the hell that was. I don't know what it is, and I don't want to know. I don't know if you can tell, but man, my insanity bar is already halfway. Damn. How the hell am I supposed to? I'm gonna keep going. Let's see how fast I can go here. Time is indeed of the essence. Looks like I gotta click on that. It's a little trap. So one thing about a hunter, at least I want to stick to fighting one enemy at a time. I can. Misdirect. Looks like 3 targets. Yep, 3 targets. Oh, there goes that thing trying to file me. It's funny how I got like these purple eyes above me. Purple eyes tell me, hey, I'm coming. Oh, cool. It didn't last too long. Interesting. Alright. God damn, I'm already down that low. Shit. Oh, see? Look at that purple shit. Alright, so I'm gonna have to lay down one of these insanity orbs. Oh no! Is that thing still gonna hit me? Oh, it hit me while I was in there, but luckily it's not doing anything to me. Just the stun effect. Alright, so I still need a little totem there, little totem there. Not too bad. Okay. Destroy that. Over here. Misdirect. We'll light these guys up. Misdirect again. Multi-shot. Little ricochet right there. Alright, so I'm gonna put that guy in a trap. Open up on this guy here. Double tap. Bing, 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 bing. Shit's hilarious. Sometimes I gotta heal my pet though. Oh no! The eyes, they're upon me. Bang! There goes an instant shot. That's delicious. Alright, here we go. Little guy right here. Hopeless. Yep, that's what I thought. I'm lucky I can actually tell what mechanics. So if there's this light thing that came off of me, that was that go-to. I was like, I better go to that. Alright, cool. That was done. So that means I need to go to the other side. I'm gonna go this way. Looks like not a lot of targets here. So one thing about being a horde character, I do know my way around this city. So it's not like, hey, I don't know where to go. Where the hell am I going? Like the Alliance City, I was like, oh my god. I sat there and did like a little studying on the on the on the map just to get an idea. Like, all right, am I going the right way? Do I make a left down this hallway or that hallway? These tentacles are a pain in my ass. I hate them. Oh, look at that. Alright, I need to do as much as I can. I only got 2 of those sanity things. Crap. Oh, what the hell? He's pushing me back. Oh, I need to heal my pet before he dies. I don't need him to die. Boom. Ooh. Oh, that sucked. So that means that spell he did freaking messed me up bad. Alright. Get full insanity and go. Oh hell no, you ain't doing no spell on me. Oh, looks like I gotta click this. What's that? Target. Boom. Oh, great. Oh, see what I'm about these tentacles, man. They go away. A waste of time. Alright, so I gotta go over here. Boom. Oh shit, what do you got? How about I go and fight you? 162k, not bad. Oh boy, it was mine. Hit that 100 mark for an extra, oh shit. Just dodge that. Damn, am I not doing that much damage? I just feel like I'm doing that much damage. Alright, I gotta make time here for that. Alright, so I gotta kill that guy? Damn, I can't hit him. Can't hit him yet. Oh man, whatever that shield was, I took that shit off. Yeah. Ooh. Ah, looks like I gotta click this. Cool. Whee! Oh shit! Look at that. Cannonball! That looks funny. Alright, so now I would have to run to... Got a little bit of time. Let me grab this thing over here. I think that's giving me... Oh yeah, 319 of that. Whatever that is. Probably a currency to buy stuff. So this I know, I can put this right here. Okay. Click on him, put my 100 mark, get started. Alright, so full insanity and go. Misdirect and light them up. this. Oh, that looks like that spell. See, he gets just like the other ones. They get the spell of one of the bosses, mini bosses that I fought against. Interesting. Oh, you get that orb thing, just like with that one character had. Oh, but he got it off. Damn, I didn't even get to destroy it. Oh, snap. I need to get stunned by that. I know those rings are very bad when they pop up. Oh, he got me. Didn't get out of the way in time. Alright, there goes. So, okay, I gotta walk in here. Oops, let me get out of the way. Now I gotta go back out here. Back. 170k, and so I got 300 of that thing. This. Oh wow, there's a bonus objective I didn't do. Orgrimmar orphanage checked. Oh, that's kind of suck. I wonder if that messed me up. So let's see. We got the warp. I got the fear page on there. I got the torn page on there. Cool. And then this gave me an item. 430 item. See, another reason why I did enchanting on all the characters is that this game, these guys decided to put these, what they call Azurite gear. So the helmet, the shoulders, and the chest armor, those 3 slots of armor can be a Azurite gear piece. So for example, this shoulder that it gave me, I can shift, right click, it opens up a window, and then per your spec, it highlights the things you can pick to give you an extra boost on something. And one of the problems with, which is the reason I did enchanting, is I can't sell that item to a vendor. I sell all these other items. Boots, gloves, belt, leggings, other weapons. I can sell those, get gold back. But be damned, they didn't want to have the Azurite gear to sell. I mean, there is specific ones I came across that I could sell, and I was like, okay, I can sell those, but I can't sell these. What the hell? So, with that being said, that's one of the reasons I did enchanting. So I can go ahead and disenchant that. And that being an epic item gives me a vialed crystal, which is an epic reagent I need for the enchanting. Which in this case I got lucky. It also gave me the Umbra shard, which is the blue quality version, and then the other one I forgot what the other one I know is like a type of dust. So it's always a dust and then some crystal type things, and then those are the reagents I use for enchanting. Now, what's this melee daydream contract? Oh, cool! I can actually give that to my warrior Primero because that is a contract for mission stuff that they have for the mission table that they added in this game. Well, that's pretty much it. So that was pretty cool. So looks like one of the enemies is Rexar. I guess I have to fight Rexar in one of those lost areas. And then this orc chick, look, I forgot her name, but I believe she is the leader of the Magar orcs that we ended up getting as a playable race in the Horde. I wonder if do I get to fight her? Do I get to fight him? I know she helped me, and then he helped me. Didn't fight them. I know in the Alliance place, there was a gnome that I helped. She was the one that popped up here like this, and then the other one was like an elf like a half elf kind of chick. Alright, I mean, that's pretty cool. So that's essentially the basic stuff for, I guess, our heroic vision there. I'm going to have to go in a second time. So it looked like I did okay. I could have done better. I mean, I feel like I did semi okay because on Primero it felt like I did very well on him. Um, Plus he's definitely geared a little bit better than this guy when it comes to that. So that's definitely a factor in that. But I guess once I keep upgrading this cloak, which like I said, I'm gonna have to go in here again. Like I gotta buy another vessel and then go do what I just did in this video again. Well, I guess I'll leave it at that. We'll just um, I'll do another video, I guess, later on about something else, maybe with this particular thing of this expansion. But y'all have a good one. Later, and thank you.